Tonight we watched the most beautiful movie ever. One of my favorite of all times. Rumble in the Bronx with Jacqueline Chan. So, this is a great movie. It's about Jackie Chan. He has a name in the film. Kyung, I think. Yeah, but he's Jackie Chan. So, Jackie Chan comes to America to visit his uncle. His uncle is selling his shop and getting married, and Jackie Chan just shows up and starts kicking some bad guys' asses. So there's that. It's a great film.
Can't believe you fucking said ass.
Alright. The reason I picked this film is that I love it. It's a great film. It represents something I enjoy. And also, a lot of times Keegan, when he watches films, he's a big film guy. That's why we're doing this. He's always about the story and about like the cinematography and about how everything comes together. And whenever I think of this movie does not have all that beautiful stuff. But it's so much fun, and so why I did this is I wanted to see what Keegan would think of a film like this. That doesn't have much of a story, it's pretty streamlined, you know what's going to happen, you kind of understand, but it's there for the fun, it's there for the fights, it's there for the stunts, and so that's kind of one of the reasons I picked it. So what do you guys think of when you...
Well, and also, because I've technically not really seen a Jackie Chan proper movie.
Okay.
Like I think I've seen like Shanghai Noon and Shanghai Nights.
Okay.
And then like Spy Next Door.
Okay.
Oh man.
So yeah, I was like, feel like it's about time, because we've talked about it quite a bit before.
Yes.
About Levi wanting to show me at least one or couple others that he's mentioned.
I think there's going to be a few other Jackie Chan movies that make an appearance at the show, because I like a lot of his movies, and there's a bunch of like different eras of Jackie Chan, so I might pick an older one next. But yeah, go ahead. What do you think?
I thought it was really fun.
Okay.
There's Jackie Chan is a very charming guy.
Yeah.
Like he like, whenever he's on screen, he kind of like commands this sort of like likability, which I thought was really like you've seen it with plenty of other actors before, but like since I hadn't really seen a movie with him, it was almost like seeing him for the first time and being like, oh, this guy is very charismatic and fun to watch, and like, yeah, it's just, and then boy howdy, those action scenes. He sure knows how to. Like I don't want to talk too much over you.
No, it's okay.
But specifically how creative the fights were.
Yes.
Like I was almost just expecting really cool kung fu fighting. But there was also like using environments and like, you know, like props that were really fun, like him jumping through the cart. And then like, there's just so much that was fun to watch in those. But we'll get to the story later.
That is something that is very Jackie Chan, is the using the environment during a fight.
Yep.
Like in pretty much every one of his films, he uses furniture. He uses all like a bunch of set pieces. Like during one of the fight scenes, he uses this sort of like railing thing that's kind of like a semicircle. Even that, like, which seems like something that, you know, in a normal fight you would try to avoid, or, you know, you wouldn't even touch, but he uses it to his advantage.
Okay, that's good to hear, because like I know Keegan kind of likes to like think about like deep, thought-provoking stories and stuff, but that's good that you kind of got what it was. It was supposed to be just a fun...
I mean, one of my favorite movies is like Mad Max Fury Road.
Okay.
That's not like a deep movie. It's just a
sure.
really well done movie.
speaking of Mad Max, there were some villains that kind of looked like Mad Max in this.
Well, even they're like little like carts.
Go karts
like dune buggies and stuff.
Yeah.
Kind of reminded me of that too.
Yeah, so these guys, there's some...
Like Mad Max mixed with those annoying characters from Stranger Things.
Oh, yeah.
Their clothes are just so outlandish and weird, with like mohawks and trench coats and like, but like each character in this movie, like in the gang, has sort of their own personality to their outfit and everything.
Yeah, that's actually one of the directions I wanted to go with. Is one of the questions I wanted to ask you is, who was your favorite like background bad guy? So my favorite guy is there was like this Native American guy. I don't know if you guys remember him.
With the bandana?
Yeah, and then like the braids. Mm-hmm. And it's like, that guy is, what's his story, And it's just like, just by wearing what he's wearing, he's just like a character. And I thought it was fun. So if you guys have any that you thought or saw that you noticed, I was wondering what you guys thought.
I mean, I was too focused on what was happening.
Okay.
Like, immediately in front of the camera, but I don't think I noticed too many of them. I think I noticed them. It was just like I don't remember any because it's hard to remember when you're like more focused on the other things.
My eyes kept getting drawn to the guy with like his hair sticking up, almost like
Rami Malek.
Yeah.
I was into him.
So he was the guy that got the stuff. The other guy.
Thank you for giving me mine too.
Wood chipped onto him.
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah. So there's a bunch of different characters, and I thought that's one of like the funny things about this movie is like they're all larger than life, kind of like no one actually probably dressed like that. I hope not. Back in the 90s, but it's like this. It's almost like reality, but like hyper.
Heightened reality.
It's exaggerated.
Yeah, it's all exaggerated.
Heightened.
And even like...
Yeah.
So, do you guys have like a favorite sequence of like a fight scene or a stunt that happened?
The first brief fight that he does was when I was like, okay, I'm going to enjoy this.
Like when he was in like the store?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like I think I'll say that just because that was the first moment where I was like, this is going to be fun. Mm. And also it has at the end of the fight where the bad guy starts walking backwards.
Yeah.
He's like, mind the stair.
Yeah. Watch your step. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was funny.
I heard Keegan laugh. I was like, okay, that's good. That's good.
It was a good laugh too.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't really choose a single sequence just because all of them are just so elaborate and like good.
I will say during the second time the supermarket's getting beat up by the ruffians, my favorite part of that was when someone like hits some like a frozen or refrigerated glass door with something, but then someone else just rams it with their bike.
Yeah,
that was one of the greatest things I've seen in a long time.
It was such a hard impact. And
it's so quick too. It's just.
I'm sure they're using like sugar glass or whatever it is, but it's like you feel it, and it's like
But even if you like, that's such a hard impact. I can't see the stunt person like not feeling it for like a couple days.
Yeah.
It was great. There's a lot of that are just like it's not the thing that I appreciated was that it wasn't too much of that.
Okay.
Because there's some movies that would be this crazy all the time.
Yeah.
Whereas this was like you'd get like 10 plus minutes in between crazy fights, which was like nice, even though I mean I couldn't wait to go into things I didn't like.
Okay.
But
let's talk about the kid.
What is it about this crippled little boy who's just getting knocked around left and right? Like, that's so funny. I don't think they meant for it to be funny.
I think they
we're kind of.
I think they did. Like, there's a lot of stuff in this movie that's funny, and it's meant to be funny. It's a comedy. It's not like it's not a comedy like maybe like Airplane or anything, but it's like physically funny, and a lot of that is when they push the kid over.
It almost seems like how the kid is trying to act.
Yeah, he's not the best actor.
Well, like it just seems like he's trying to sound like he's actually getting like brutally hurt.
Yeah.
Which almost makes it funnier. If I would go into negatives, I would say like story.
Yeah.
But like it's not just the story itself. I think it is those pockets of like 10 minutes where I'm like, okay, I do kind of want it to get back to the action faster.
Yeah.
Like I appreciate that it wasn't so over, run with action scenes, but I feel like some of those scenes could have just been like a little bit shorter.
Yeah.
Because like I was like maybe that's what the movie's trying to do, because I was like starting to get bored.
Yeah.
And then the action would come and I'd be like, okay, this I'm much more excited for the action now because I was bored a second ago.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what they were trying to do, but
yeah, I think there was a couple times when we like just all looked at each other because the dialogue was just like so like.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of exposition dialogue that's like over. It's like, especially at the beginning when he's with his uncle.
Yeah.
His uncle, almost every line the uncle has is exposition.
Yeah. Here's the last paper. Give it to her. Then here's some money. Have a good time.
I know this person because of this.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's like, shouldn't he know that too? One of my other major issues with the movie was like weirdly when they were talking, like their lines weren't really matching up with their lips.
Okay.
Like they were saying certain things like in English, and I was like watching their lips and I'm like, they're like, this is bad ADR. Like they really should
That's a mystery as to why that is the case.
Yeah.
But I know one thing is when we first put in the movie, Keegan's like, this better be in English. And then the first couple lines are in Chinese and like with subtitles. And I look at Keegan, I'm like, just wait.
I didn't say it better be in English. I just asked if it was going to be in English.
Keegan doesn't do well with reading, so.
I almost would have rather have watched it in the original language, although is this the original?
So
I wouldn't think so.
Because I think it was made for Chinese audiences first. It was Hong Kong first, and then it came to America like a year later.
Yeah.
But Jackie does all his lines, I believe, and a bunch of the other.
Oh yeah, I recognize his voice.
Yeah.
So it's still him, but just like Keegan said, the ADR is awful.
Okay, I know that they were dubbed, but I was using that joke to get to, there are actual English speakers who definitely have ADR that looks pretty bad, or noticeable at least.
The reason why this is one of my favorite movies is because my family owned this film like when I was growing up. I think my parents got it when it first came out on DVD, or not on DVD, on VHS. Wow, that's an old movie. But but I just remember like being like when I got I obviously didn't see it when it first came out because I was probably like a little kid. But I remember like seeing it in like the back of our VHS, like cabinet or whatever, and be like, what is that, And so my mom was like, you're ready to watch it now. And so we watched it, and I was a little bit older, maybe like 10, 11, 12, around that age, And I just remember seeing this movie and being like, oh, how is he doing all this cool stuff? And how is he so funny at the same time? And so like when I said like I like this to my mom, she kind of like talked about how her and my dad saw it in the theaters when it first came out, and they really enjoyed it too.
Aww. Oh, so sweet.
Anyways, so like they kind of talk about how they went to the theater and everyone was just like hooting and hollering and having a good time, you know, and just everyone was like, Jackie's like this charismatic person and he's like having fun and everyone in the audience is having fun. And I don't know if you guys remember this, but like back at Walmart, they used to have like those big bins with like a bunch of movies in it. So like for some reason at the same time that I started watching this movie and like, hey mom, this is cool. We went to Walmart one time and we started going to one of those bins and there's all these other Jackie Chan movies that were in that like bargain bin. And so I bought a bunch of them and we just watched them. And so that's why it's one of my favorite movies, is that it was kind of like started like a whole thing where we watched a bunch of Jackie Chan movies, and I like all of the Jackie Chan movies. So. Okay, so yeah, let's do the rating. What do you think, Keegan?
So I'm like between a thumbs up and a sideways.
Okay.
Just because, I mean, it's super entertaining. It's just when it gets to those plot moments, when it starts having the plot come back in, I'm just kind of like...
Yeah, it's not there for the plot.
Yeah, I know.
I know.
It's just there's a little too much of plot going on.
Yeah.
For it to like, for me to fully be like, yeah, big thumbs up, because I would if there was like, just cut a little bit of that fat out of there. But for the video, I think I will just go thumbs up, because it's very entertaining when it's entertaining. So yeah, I'll do a thumbs up.
I'll do the same. I'll do a thumbs up.
Nice.
Like he said, the story is more of a vehicle for the action and the choreography and stuff. Although one of the exposition scenes where the little kid is talking while his sister is behind the door was probably one of the parts where I laughed the hardest. So
yeah, I'll give
I mean, there's some exposition scenes that give a little more than others, but yeah, it's a good thumb up for me.
Nice. All right, so I'm gonna give it 2 thumbs up. I think it doesn't try to be anything more than what it is. It's fun. You're here to see Jackie. You're here to see the action. You're here to see the bad guy get his comeuppance at the end. And I think it's a lot of fun.
Boy, does he.
Yeah. All right, it was 2 thumbs up. Thank you, and hi-ya. Who